Hi everyone, welcome to today's tutorial. Today we're going to be making a prosthetic piece and I'm actually going to be making a zombie bite. So what I'm starting with is some clay. It's just a store-bought clay. You can get it from any sort of craft store such as Hobbycraft, the range in the UK. I'm just moulding it into the shape I want and I'm using my reference picture for a zombie bite so I can do this. It's starting out as a sort of banana shape, but this is going to be the base for what I want to work on. So it does take a little bit of time to mould, but use plenty of inspiration pictures and you should get what you want. So I'm actually working on a plastic wallet. That's just because it's what I have to hand, it's quite cheap and it works the same as anything else. And I'm taking a plastic spatula and I'm just blending the edges of that clay out. Now the reason I'm doing this is because when we start to apply the latex layers, we're going to want a nice seamless surface so that when we take the prosthetic off, we'll have a nice kind of edge to blend onto the skin. I'm also taking my finger and I'm just applying pressure and using the heat from my fingers to blend out that clay onto the plastic wallet as well. And it's completely up to you guys whether you want to use your fingers or use a spatula, and it doesn't have to be a plastic wallet either. It can be greaseproof paper, it can be onto a face cast, anything you can use that you would think would work. Now I'm taking my plastic spatula and I'm just carving out what's going to be the teeth marks. I'm aiming for a kind of rounded square shape with these, and I'm just dragging out the clay and removing any pieces that I won't need for my prosthetic. Now as you can see, again, taking the plastic spatula and I'm just making those teeth marks bigger. Now the reason I'm doing this is because once I start to apply maybe 4 layers of latex, the smaller details that I've worked on carving out are going to start to disappear. So I've decanted my latex into a stainless steel container, which makes for an easy removal. You guys can use disposable plastic cups. And I'm just using a really inexpensive brush, something I won't be too bothered about if it breaks, something I can throw away afterwards. And I'm using thin layers just to apply to the prosthetic, and what I'm creating is the skirt. Now the skirt is what's going to go onto the skin and help to create that seamless application. So I'm making it kind of wobbly around the edges so that I can overlap if need be. And then I'm taking more latex onto the actual clay, which is going to be the main section of my prosthetic. I'm also using a hairdryer to dry off the latex layers a little bit. This just speeds up the process. However, you can leave yours to air dry in between each layer, which is absolutely fine too. I usually work around 3 to 4 layers on the prosthetic. This just builds up enough layers so that the prosthetic is strong enough to stand on its own. And what I also like to do is with each layer, I take it further and further in towards the actual clay. So it builds up strongest in the middle and thinnest on the outside, which is really important for when we come to apply the actual prosthetic to the skin. So now I'm going to use a little bit of talc. Baby talc is absolutely fine to use as well, and I'm just going to dust over the whole prosthetic just to take off the tackiness from the latex. And again, using a concealer brush, I'm just taking a little bit of talc, brushing around the edges, just buffing that in. This is going to help with a really easy removal as well. If we didn't use the talc, then the latex, because it's so tacky, would just stick to itself and you wouldn't end up with a properly formed prosthetic. I'm also using my nail just to edge up a little bit of the latex so I can get underneath with my brush, taking the talc and buffing underneath it so that I can start to lift it away from the plastic wallet. Once you've buffed all around the edge with talc, the wallet should just remove from the prosthetic and you'll have your finished piece, which should look like so. Now, when you flip the prosthetic over, you will see that there is clay left inside it, which is absolutely fine. We can just pick this out, depending on whether you're going to use Play-Doh or Fimo clay. You may have to do the same thing. So just bend your latex prosthetic a little bit, give it a bit of leeway, and then take a plastic spatula and start to remove the clay. Once you've taken a section of it out, the rest of it should be quite easy to remove. And there we have our finished piece, ready for application and colouring. It may need a little bit of a wipe down, so just keep that in mind. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out the next tutorial where we're going to apply and colour the prosthetic piece.